Perfect, perfect. So what I had asked about was who has held visions for you in the past? And my experience is that I have parents that did that. I have teachers in my life that held visions, but I don't know that any of us ever really talked about it as a vision that we were holding for someone else. And
Yeah.
yeah, often they were visions that we didn't even know about ourselves because we just didn't talk about it. And I'm not sure that the people around us said to us, this is a vision I have for you, and didn't tell you about that. So it wasn't a natural conversation piece.
Can you give me an example of vision holding?
Well, for me, when I'm vision holding for someone, I'm first working with them to get really clear about what it is they want to create. And I use a process that I learned from Dr. Bobby Stevens in Unlimited Futures. And it's a pretty easy process. And anyone who's listening we can talk about a few of the pieces of that process. The first thing would be to identify some event that you want to have in your life. For instance, if you're a counselor, maybe you want to have so many patients, that's the event you want to get to. Or if you're an author, maybe you want to get your book published. If you're Sherry, who just was visiting with you, playing at some symphony or being part of the Minnesota Orchestra might be the vision that she would like. And I'm just using her for an example because she's so talented. But at any rate, that's the first part. That's the event. And then we have other pieces that are related. So if you've got an event at the top of a page, you've got behaviors under that, you've got structure under that, then you have vision, and then you have self. The place that we can really create the event is by, number one, knowing who we are, and number two, creating that vision. Number three goes into putting in structure in place, and then we follow the behavior from the structure, and the event eventually happens. What most people do is spend 80 to 90% of their time focusing on how do I get to write my book, and don't go through the process of knowing who they are and what that vision is. So what I do with clients is I work with them to identify all of what they want in that vision, and it's important that it's in the 5 senses. So we talk about how it tastes, how it smells, how it how it feels, what it looks like, how it sounds, okay? And we get a vision statement figured out of having accomplished what that event looks like in their life in that vision statement. And then what happens is I hold the vision, I bring it into my thinking, into my energy space, several times a day, whatever, and hold that vision for them until they're ready to step fully into it and hold it themselves. And there are lots of ways that people can strengthen their own ability to create visions and hold visions and get clarity about what they want. So there's a lot of pieces to it, but that's basically it. I mean, seeing them fully present in those 5 senses becomes really important.
I love that. I love what you say about helping your client to step into it when they are ready. Because I think that's what we do as practitioners, as mentors, as coaches, is we hold that space. I always describe it as a bit like a marshmallow.
Yes.
You wrap your arms, okay, you wouldn't really wrap your arms, but you like wrap your arms around somebody and they step into it and then they grow in it. I don't know why I call it a marshmallow, but it just feels like, you hold that space until they're ready to.
Right, until they're strong enough to do it.
Yeah.
And can believe that they can do that. And that's one of the challenges, is figuring out what they really believe that is driving their life. Okay. And so one of the things that I often assign clients to do is to spend the next month writing down belief statements they hear, because people will say to you, what do you believe? And you're going, I don't know, And so what I found is the easy way to identify beliefs is to figure out, because people tell you who they are. So you talk about listening to what people say. And whenever they say, I have to, I need to, I must, you should, in order to, any of those kinds of statements, those are belief statements.
Yeah.
All right. And until you become aware of what other beliefs are for other people, you often have challenges listening to your own belief statements. And so once you got to get going, and it's fun sometimes to have a partner to do that. And the response is, that's an interesting belief.
Yeah. Where does that one
it's not. Yeah, so you begin to become aware of what it is you believe, because beliefs are often driving your life, and you really want to know what they are, because otherwise you're operating without that piece of knowledge and the ability to change those beliefs.
Absolutely. So tell me, Patricia, how can you position yourself and your client for success when you are vision holding?
Well, what I do is simply hold that vision, talk to them, help them get more comfortable, and address what beliefs they might need to change about that vision. And one of the strategies is, in the past, I believe this to be true, and it served you in the past. But going forward, I'm going to choose to believe something different. And that helps them to get stronger in awareness so that they can hold their own vision.
So is that about reframing, or is that completely different?
Yeah, it's generally about reframing. It's about saying, in the past, I believe this. Now I'm going to choose to believe this, and make it a different outcome for that belief.
Yeah, fantastic. So
does that help?
How can you use vision holding to increase your client's experience with you?
Well, that becomes very important, to have your own vision of your own business and what it is you deliver to clients. And so it's important to have done your own work about what your vision is and what clients will experience, and then hold that and structure what you're delivering around accomplishing that vision. So that gets us more into that structure question of what it is that I need to have in place to accomplish what I want those clients to experience. And so I have to put structure in, whether it's we want to have one-on-one time on the computer, we want to meet in person, we want to have email communication, whatever it is, you have to put that in the structure.
Yeah, so, and there's lots of ways you can, it's holding that space again, isn't it, that you were talking about at the beginning, holding the space, you feel comfortable, feel safe, feel nurtured.
Right. That's absolutely correct, is figuring out what that space looks like to create the things that we mutually agree we want to have in our vision holding relationship, because we need to talk about, I'm helping to hold, or I'm holding your vision now till you're strong enough, but when and what are the steps in the structure to get you strong enough to hold that vision?
I guess this taps into making sure that your beliefs are aligned so you can make that impact and thrive.
Correct. And there's a lot of conversation that goes along with discovering, again, what those beliefs are, because you can create visions all day long, but if you can't believe in them, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay. They won't happen and you'll feel discouraged. So we really do need to have the conversations to uncover those. And that's why we look at the exercises, the listening exercises to identify them and then to determine if that is a belief that you want to continue to hold, because it's all about choices.
Yeah.
And there are choices within yourself. There are community choices. One of the interesting things is to listen to the beliefs that are going on in the world right now. They're very interesting. When you start thinking about what do people believe is possible. So there are many pieces to, beliefs and then subsequently vision holding, because, if we want to visualize a world of peaceful behavior, I don't know that the beliefs are there that we can actually have that. And so we have to think about those things.
Yeah. It's the whole conscious piece, isn't it? Of, I think, given that it is such a challenging time, it's all of these messages that we're getting. It's very difficult to decipher actually what's true. What is true? Yeah, and sorting through that, because we just seem to be consistently bombarded with things that really aren't true.
Yes, absolutely. But those things are true for some people.
Yes, that is very true. So it reinforces what they believe to be true. Yeah. It starts to get very complicated.
Yeah, it's not an easy answer. So,
No.
But I do, for those people who are interested, I do have a workbook that outlines some of the pieces, and
Brilliant.
They're welcome to get that.
Yeah.
I'd be glad to send it as a PDF to them.
Yeah, I've got it on the download page. I will also pop it in here again as well. It's gone out in the email. A quick question before I open to the audience for questions.
Sure.
Do you find, because I find myself doing this with clients, is that so you'll create this vision and then moving towards the vision, and then their behavior starts to not sit in line with the vision it is that they're holding. So do you find yourself going, okay, let's just roll this back a second? How does that fit into that?
Right.
You find
and how is that working for you is a classic question. And then the other piece is always about strengthening your central nervous system through many different techniques, so that you have the capacity to stay focused and to move into that different space. Because if you're overstressed, which most all of us are, how do you have the capacity, or how do you increase your capacity to make changes in your life? And that becomes another important discussion as we go through this whole process, because we need to make sure that we've got that capacity. One other thing, Wendy, I want to make sure is that it's very important that whatever that vision is, that it's written out. It's got to be in writing, okay?
Yeah.
And then it needs to be revised as you have new awarenesses.
Yep, I am listening. I'm just looking for your link. That's why I'm looking a bit strange.
Oh, no problem. Well, it's there. You'll find it.
Yeah, no, it's here. I just closed it down because of the internet was going a bit funny.
Okay.
I think what you've said about vision holding is absolutely fascinating, and I've never thought of it. You're the first person that's opened my mind up to the whole concept of vision holding, and I think it's absolutely fascinating that we've had the opportunity to explore this. Can I ask the audience, if anyone has a question, if they would like to come on and ask Patricia a direct question, that would be fabulous. Okay, let me just... Okay, so you can unmute yourself, yes, I think that's a word. And then you can come on video, ask Patricia a question. If anyone has a question in relation to vision holding.
Yes, could Patricia expand on strengthening your nervous system?
Sure, I'd be happy to. What happens is that we get so much going on in our body that our body doesn't communicate with itself real well. And we've always got, you know, this is coming at us, etc., and we get overstressed. And so one of the things that I have learned through the years from, again, Unlimited Futures was the importance of meditation, of doing some physical energizer, yoga type postures. Breathing is another one. Taking walks, resting, all of those pieces just to strengthen your body so that you have less stress and you're able to be more connected to what some people call God, some people call universal consciousness, whatever, that you're connected because we are all part of the whole. And so we need to be able to tap into that energy, and you can do that the more you have strengthened your nervous system to make those connections. Does that help?
Yes, thank you. And just
You're
one
welcome.
other question. When you talk about vision holding and holding the vision for someone else, the person really has to be clear then on what their vision is, or you can manifest something totally different than what the person had wished the outcome to be.
Well, exactly.
How do you get clear on that?
You have to have lots of conversation. They have to share that written vision with you and keep you updated on revisions that they make to it. But also remember that as a parent, you have visions for your children and they didn't tell you those. Okay. You know, some visions are held, they're projected upon us. And so we need to be very careful because as many of you know, it's all about energy. And so what energy are we directing towards people? And making a choice for you as an individual to hold people in the highest good, in the ability to give their greatest gifts, to be happy. All of those things are more generalized visions. But for my clients, I hold very specific visions. Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
I love
Hi,
that.
Pat. Hi, Pat.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Okay. This is Deb.
Hi, Deb.
Love that, what you just elaborated on as far as our visions for our children and not having heard visions about ourselves as we were growing up. You said that they were more generalized. I like to understand that a little bit more. I mean, I've spoken to my daughter about the visions that I've had for her, and my visions for her have kind of stuck. I mean, I still have that vision of her being, an attorney, her being a lawyer. And time and time again, as life has evolved and she's wanting to pursue a better career, okay? She's not happy in what she's doing, or she's finding it's just no longer a good fit for her. Again, my vision for her still pops up, and I say, "Oh, why don't you take the LCATs or the LSATs or the course online, to pursue this vision I have of her being an attorney." Now, am I doing the wrong thing? I mean, by imposing this on her from time and time again. I mean, I'm not a real big push, but I take opportunities when they arise. So, am I doing the wrong thing? should I be doing this in a better way?
Deb, you and I both know you always do what is the best for you and for her with the best intentions. However, I would shift the energy this is just my recommendation now. I would shift the energy and say, in the past, I have really held the vision of you being an attorney. But what I really want to do as your mom is hold the vision of what you want. And so I need for you to share with me what that is so I can start holding that vision. Now, that moves you out of arguing with her, and it moves it moves her into being responsible for her own vision. Okay? And then you're saying, I'm here to help you, but I need to know what you want because I want to do what you want. And it'll change the energy of the conversation.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Anytime, Deb.
Who's your favorite client? Who do you really love to work with? Who keeps you in flow?
I really enjoy young people.
Yeah.
You know, they have such energy. They have such a different perspective on the world. I learn a lot from them. And so I really, really enjoy that. And then they challenge me all day long about what my ideas might be. So I really enjoy them.
So you like to be kept on your toes by the sounds of it?
Absolutely. I'm always learning. There's so much to learn about. And so yeah. I'm so blessed.
Do you help women in business as well create visions around their business and stepping into?
That's how I got into this whole thing in the first place. I didn't hire a woman at a law firm I was managing. And she called me back and said, I want to know more about what you do, because I had done behavior assessment with her. And then we spent the next 6 months meeting once a week, and she cried at every meeting because she was so unhappy. Oh. And I moved her into creating the vision of what she really wanted to do, which was have her own secretarial service. And she also, part of her vision, which was really interesting, is that she didn't want to work the month of June. She took the whole month of June off. That was part of her vision. And she just could not see how this could happen. And I kept saying, okay, but let's get clear. I'll hold the vision till you're ready. And finally she got ready. And I think she just retired after 13 years of having her own independent vision called Castle Visions. That's what she called it. And so, it was really fun to watch her. Then I had to do all of her relatives and, et cetera. But that's when I discovered I was a vision holder.
I think it's amazing. It's amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. How can people get hold of you if they want to continue, and I can imagine quite a few people will want to continue this conversation with you?
Well, they're welcome. The ones who know me with phone numbers can certainly call me, but otherwise I'm at visionholderscoaching.com.